I've made this video, or tried to make this video, about 2 other times. One time in full makeup as the thumbnail suggested. Come to find the audio, not there. Just not there. And then the second time, halfway through, battery dies. Who could have figured that one out? Yeah, these are the best TV shows of all time. Obviously, this is facts. This isn't opinion-based whatsoever. So today we're going to be going through my favorite TV shows of all time. It could be the greatest TV shows of all time for many people, or it could be the worst TV show list of all time for many people. So, I've recorded this way too much. We're just going to get into it. Also, before I do a review, I'm not counting limited series. I think limited series I might do another video on, because there are tons of limited series that I love that I think should have their own list. So we're not going to do limited series. We're basically doing TV shows that have at the very least 2 seasons or more. But yeah, these are my top 10, and I'm going to show you them. Number 10 is going to be The X-Files. The X-Files is such a comfort show. A lot of these shows, or some of them, are definitely more comfort-based, but The X-Files has such a big place in my heart. David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson are so good in this show. They play Fox Mulder and Dana Scully. Basically, if you don't know, 2 FBI agents. They not only do they investigate FBI stuff, but they investigate supernatural things within a files called The X-Files. So it goes through this many seasons. I know that they released 2 other seasons in the middle of the 2010s. I saw 1 season of it, and I didn't really finish the other season that came out. I know critically it wasn't well received as the original seasons were, but besides that, The X-Files is just so good. They have like a consecutive or a concise storyline throughout the entire series that deals with a set number of people, the government, and aliens, of course, but obviously the other episodes are kind of filler episodes with different supernatural entities that they find, or any weird monster shape-shifting, anything. It's just so cool. The X-Files is so good, and I love it. And again, I loved David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson's chemistry with that. Basically, will they, won't they, if you've ever seen the show. The tension is just really good, and especially for a TV show or series, or even limited series, when characters are so well written and so well good on screen, it just ups the ante for me for a series. So X-Files is always going to be in my top 10 somewhere, and it's just going to be number 10 for this list. So X-Files, number 10. Number 9, this might turn some heads, and I'll explain why. Friends. I know. Wait. Before, stop. Don't click off the video. Do not click off the video if you haven't already. Stop. I'm looking at you. Let me explain. Friends. There was a point in time where obviously I knew what Friends was. I've never fully binge watched the entire series. There was a point in time where I was kind of down on my luck. This was years ago, and I just needed a show to have my head escape whatever depressive episode I was going through at one point in time. I just felt very low at a point in time, and I just needed a series to really cheer me up, and Friends was on HBO, so I decided to watch it. And my expectations were actually pushed through the door. I didn't expect to really like this show a lot. Friends is really good. There isn't an episode in Friends where I'm like, oh, this episode. Maybe like 1 or 2 episodes. But other than that, Friends is, for me, it's very funny. I think Friends the humor hits me more, I think, than most people. And this was one of those shows where my mom would always have in the background. So obviously I've seen some episodes, but binge watching it fully, I understood a lot of like the emotional elements, the humor, the inside jokes, the long running jokes. And God, it's just really good. Like, a lot of people that say, like, oh, Friends isn't funny, Friends is not good, I guarantee you those people have not watched Friends in its entirety. And I can prove that to you, because they say that it's not funny, or it's not good. I think Friends is very funny. All the characters are so good in the show. Chandler and Joey are my favorite of the show. Rest in peace, Matthew Perry. But it is just such a good banter between each character on screen. And that's what I look for, especially in a TV show where I'm going to watch for a while, or even limited series, or just series in general. If the characters are very good, if I feel connected, if I laugh, I see no problem with it, especially for a comedy sitcom. Now, there was, for a while, a long debate between The Office and Friends, which is funnier, which you really shouldn't be comparing the two shows versus, you can only pick Office or Friends because two totally different shows, mind you. One's a mockumentary and one's a full-on sitcom with the laugh track. But The Office is very good, too. Although I think, now this is just me, I would have put The Office in this spot if it weren't for the seasons without Michael Scott. If you agree with me, stay with me. That's the only reason why I didn't really like The Office as much. The Office, some of the jokes definitely landed for me more than Friends, but then there were a lot of long-running jokes, or I guess better timed jokes with Friends than The Office. And I guess there were more emotional, for me there was more emotional baggage with Friends, with the characters, than there are with The Office characters. Obviously you have the Jim and Pam stuff, you have Michael Scott and his emotional endeavors and the trauma and crash outs he goes through, but I think for an emotional character bonding part, I think Friends succeeded in that part. So I just need to go on a little rant about Friends, but Friends, I think it's very good. It's one of my top shows. I love it. It's going to be number 9. Number 8 is going to be House MD. Dr. Gregory House. This show is what Grey's Anatomy wants to be. And I've seen Grey's Anatomy for 12 seasons, and it's still going. I stopped at a certain point when a character died because it became such a point in Grey's Anatomy where I just had to stop watching. Anyways, but House MD is such on another level where it's just really good television, really, really good television, really good characters, really good stories. And if you don't know what House MD is, and if you don't know what Grey's Anatomy is, well, it's basically the same thing. Each episode, there's a different case maybe, or there's a continuing storyline. The cases that House solves with his team, because nobody has ever heard of these diseases before, and obviously House has to solve the case before obviously a patient dies. Basically the gist of most episodes, because most episodes, or a lot of other episodes, definitely fall into character-driven story, especially with House, who is a drug addict, who's an ego narcissistic asshole at times, and those are probably one of my favorite characters in television, when it's not really at 100% a good guy, and he's not overall good, or any character is not overall good, and Gregory House is just peak at that. It's so good. There's underlining tones of slowly paced humor that really works well. Very good, just drama, I think, in a sense. I think it's one of the better medical dramas out there. I think House is way superior than most medical TV shows. It will have you hooked in. There's only 8 seasons. Now, granted, each season I think has 20-ish episodes maybe. So there's a little bit of a haul with some seasons. And yeah, some episodes are definitely more of a real filler episodes. But then there are really good episodes. House is just so good. It really is. I could gush about House all day, but this is not a video about House. If you haven't checked out House, or even just look up TikTok clips of House. House MD, number 8. Number 7 is going to be The Boys. Now, this is more of a newer show that came out a few years ago, and the final season is coming out next year, and it also has a spin-off show called Gen V, which I believe they're doing a 3rd season. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that they just finished the 2nd season, and that's a good spin-off as well. Not on the top 10 list, but The Boys, for me, is so good. I do like superhero stuff, especially if it's done well. But what The Boys does is really, really good. It blends, obviously, superhero stuff in a real-world setting, especially in today's political climate. It works really, really well. The Boys has humor, The Boys has satire, The Boys has really good emotional connections with characters, and The Boys has good superhero action. So, It's really good. It's superheroes if they really weren't all good, because in a world, if superheroes were real in a world, they would definitely be run by a government corporation and just wouldn't be fully good. And that's what this show does. Homelander, Anthony Starr, is one of the greatest villain actors of TV. And I'm calling him a villain because I truly, if you watch the show and you know the show, Homelander is not a good person. It's not really a spoiler, but I think you guys should watch it. There are so much parallels with The Boys in today's world and today's climate where it just makes it so satirically stupid, but you realize that in a way, life is kind of like that in a sense. The Boys is just really good. Everyone's really good in it. Now, it's definitely not everyone's cup of tea. I've definitely tried to have people watch the show, and they just definitely couldn't go past like the first few episodes, and it's not everyone's cup of tea. But for me, I think The Boys is just really good for satirical sense, for connecting today's political climate with superheroes and a TV show. And I think it's just really, really good. Now, my least favorite season is definitely going to be the most recent one, which is season 4. I've rewatched it recently. It's definitely better than when I first watched it. But it's not to say that it's terrible or anything, but it's definitely, for me, a step down from season 3. But the latter half of the season, especially the last few episodes, really set up a really good start to season 5. And season 5 is going to be the last season. So, The Boys is really good for me. I would love to gush about it as much like House, but maybe another video for another time. But yep, The Boys is going to be number 7. Number 6 is going to be The Sopranos. Yeah, I kind of had to put this on the list. It's really good television. I definitely watched this obviously after a lot of really popular TV shows. I didn't start watching The Sopranos, binge watching it fully until like a couple years ago. Like I've never even seen, obviously I knew what the show was, who the characters were. I've seen some clips on like TikTok or YouTube, but I've never fully watched an episode or the whole series. So I finally did the other couple years ago, and wow, very, very good. I do think maybe for me, not to say that it's overhyped, but maybe if I watch The Sopranos first and maybe not the other, like the top 5 shows that I'm going to list soon, and I watched The Sopranos first before watching all those, maybe my direction of where I stand with The Sopranos it could be different. But I think even so, I don't think it's as good as these next shows. But The Sopranos is really good. I wouldn't say, like I said, I wouldn't say it's overhyped, but I definitely think it's still worth watching. Very good writing, very, very good dialogue, really good tension building. Tony Soprano, the character, is so, so good. I didn't realize that there was going to be more emotional beats in the show than what I thought, and I think that came for me as a surprise, and I think that made me like it a lot more. I didn't really like the ending that much. It wasn't a terrible ending like this next show's, but I think it's still good, but I don't think it's the greatest ending ever. The Sopranos is really good. I would give it a watch. Yeah. Number 5 is going to be Game of Thrones. Yeah, Listen, let me just get it out. Seasons 1, 2, 3, or maybe even season 4 of Game of Thrones is one of the best dialogue written episodes or seasons I've ever seen. And I know this because during those seasons, the books that the show is based on, those were already written, and basically the newest book, or the last book from George R.R. Martin, has not even been finished yet. He's still fucking writing that shit. So after I think it's like season 5, they kind of try to do not their own thing, but George R.R. Martin gave them kind of like a layout, and they kind of went off on their own. And season 8 is horrible. But besides season 8, very good. I did not want to watch this show at first because my dad would spoil it. He was a big fan of Game of Thrones, and when this came out, I was like in my early teens, so it wasn't really like in my radar. I really didn't want to watch it, and he would just spoil it. He would right before school, as he was making breakfast, he would tell me what happened the night prior on because it usually premiered on a Sunday, so he would tell me what would happen on the Monday morning, and he would tell me, oh, this happened, this character died, this happened, so I was already spoiled. Then again, when I first binged watched it, I said, let me see if my opinion will change. And even knowing a few things of plot points and character deaths, still a very, very good show. I love fantasy stuff. I'm a big Lord of the Rings person, so medieval fantasy stuff really just kicks a little nerve in my heart, and I do like it a lot. So Game of Thrones is very good. Definitely don't watch the first 3 seasons with parents. Definitely don't. But other than that, very good show. So Game of Thrones, number 5. Number 4 is going to be Severance. Severance is a very brand new show on Apple TV. It just ended its 2nd season earlier in the year, and they're going to be shooting the 3rd season, I think, in the early of next year. So the show probably won't come out till the end of 2026 or 2027. But man, is this show really good. I know it's only in the first 2 seasons, but this show is so good. And I can't tell you what the show is about, because if I tell you what the show is about, it's going to spoil it. And you need to go into it blind. All you need to know is that when you go into work, there's a personality that splits. You have a work mode that activates, and then when you end work, your normal life activates, and you don't know what the fuck you just worked on, because it did different self of yourself. That's a terrible analogy. I don't want to get into it because I would be spoiling it, but man, Severance is really good. Like, just really, really good. It's tension, it's suspense, it's mystery. It's a lot of the things that I love in shows, where it doesn't tell you everything, but it keeps you emotionally intact. I can't tell you a lot about the show, but I could gush about it. So maybe when season 3 rolls around, we'll obviously do like a review kind of thing, but the Severance is so good. I would check it out if you haven't. It's one of those shows that it's gonna be one of my favorites, I think, if it keeps its track going by the end of the decade. So, yeah, Severance, number 4. I can't really talk about much of it to spoil, but yeah, Severance, number 4. Top 3. Number 3 is going to be Better Call Saul. Now, I would put Better Call Saul at the number 2 spot, but here's why. The show that's number 2 has more of an emotional baggage or emotional impact for me that I think is better than Better Call Saul. But anyways, Better Call Saul, amazing. It's really, really amazing. Vince Gilligan is phenomenal in his writing. He does have a new show out on Apple TV, and I haven't checked that out. I'm kind of waiting until the first few episodes. But man, oh man, Better Call Saul. If you're a fan of Breaking Bad and you haven't watched this yet, I don't know what to tell you. But it's just so good. Even if you've never watched Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul is so good. Bob Odenkirk as Jimmy McGill, aka Saul Goodman, is so good. I don't want to spoil what the number 1 spot, but because of the thumbnail, maybe you already know. But Better Call Saul has, for me, I think maybe more of an emotional impact for me by the end of the series than Breaking Bad does. But I think Better Call Saul is just, it's in its own category. It's really hard to do these top 3 for me because right now they're neck and neck, but Better Call Saul is just so good. Again, I don't really want to spoil it, talk about it, but watch it. Or if you haven't watched Breaking Bad, maybe watch Breaking Bad first and then watch Better Call Saul. Up to you. But it's still a great show. Nonetheless, Better Call Saul number 3. Number 2 is going to be BoJack Horseman. Yeah, interesting, right? BoJack Horseman, I've rewatched the show. This is probably one of the shows that I've definitely rewatched more than all of these shows. Episodes are under 30 minutes, and it's 6 seasons. And you're thinking to yourself, well, it's just a comedy adult animated show. It's not. It's fucking not. Maybe the first half of the first season, but once the season ends and season 2 starts, you get the tissues out. This show it was such a surprise to me. It became such a great show for me to watch because of the character BoJack Horseman. He is everything that you don't want to be. He is very much narcissistic a lot of the times, not as like House, but he does have a human side to him, but he makes so many mistakes, and he is the most, I saw this once, and I do agree with it, BoJack Horseman is the most human character on the show. It's It's really good, and I tell my friends all the time to watch BoJack Horseman because even if not of the the emotional, depressive storyline, it's still a good comedy, like very good comedy. But the emotional undertone of the show is just really good for me. And especially adult animated shows or animated shows in general. Well, I shouldn't say that, but adult animated shows really never have gone to me this length of a concise story of a character who has human tendencies and just makes mistakes and loses friends, loses relationships, and it's so real. Even though the show is widely outrageous at times, the character is so good. Not to say that the show is outrageous, but if you've watched the show, you'll know what I mean. But BoJack Horseman is very good. Is a very good show. So yeah, number 2. We're gonna get right into number 1. I would do some honorable mentions. Some of them I can think of. Stranger Things. I do love Stranger Things. Can't wait for season 5. The Office, of course, had to put that in there. But I think a lot of TV shows for me are more limited. I think I like more limited series than actual TV shows. So I'm really excited to do the limited series list. But number 1. I would give you a drum roll, but you probably already know what the show is. It's obviously SpongeBob SquarePants. No, but that is a great show. But it can't top Breaking Bad. I've said this to my friends. I've said this to my family. Breaking Bad, for me, is probably one of the best TV shows ever for me. I watched it, or binge-watched it, well after it came out. I think a few years after it ended. And definitely years before El Camino. I think it was like 2017-ish, maybe 2016. But man, oh man, Breaking Bad is so good. Talk about a character who becomes, I wouldn't say a villain, but I wouldn't call him an anti-hero. You're rooting for a person in the show. I really don't want to spoil it, but you're rooting for a person in the show who, like BoJack Horseman or like Gregory House, it's just a character, or Tony Soprano, who you don't agree with the actions. And it's just if I've never been more hooked and more gravitated to a show than Breaking Bad. And it's really weird to say that because I have seen great shows after Breaking Bad, and while they have tension like Breaking Bad just did something for me. And maybe that's because, I don't know, really, actually. When I showed this TV show to people, they tell me at first, I've been meaning to watch it. I don't know. I've only watched like the first episode. It's not really interesting. When does it get good? And when I tell them to push through, they tell me after, I'm not even kidding, my roommate has confessed to this, that it is one of the greatest shows of all time. And I think it is. I think until you watched it, you'll understand. Again, a show that I don't want to give away a lot, but obviously if you don't know what the show is about, Walter White, chemistry teacher, goes bad and starts making crystal meth. And you're probably asking yourself, well, how does he get there? Why does he get there? The show does it so great, so phenomenally well, so paced well. The pacing of the show is just one of the best. And I can't gush about this enough. Breaking Bad is, for me, the best show of all time. So, yeah, that's this video. Kind of maybe all over the place for you. I don't know. This list might resonate with you. This list may not. You might have clicked off of it after I mentioned Friends, which is fair, and I understand that. Thank you guys for watching this ranking list. I've tried to film this 2 other times, so I pray to God that this goes well. But this is my list for best TV shows. I definitely can't wait to do a limited series ones. I am thinking vigorously of that list, and I'm excited to do that list as well. Yeah, that's about it for this video. Thank you guys for liking and watching. If you haven't liked already, comment your best TV shows or your favorite TV shows. Subscribe if you're new. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.